video. Okay, All Wave Radio, episode, I think we're on episode 13. Quick before we get started, everyone, names. Starting with
Mark Peacemaker.
Wilson Gross. Dirty J.
Cool. So, super cool. Mark and Jay were actually on episode 1, and now we're back at it again. It's a sweet reunion. It's so beautiful. Tears everywhere. So let's get started. Jay, how do you know Wilson here, main guy?
Wilson and I met in college. We both went to Shepherd, and we were both painting majors, and I started hanging out with him so I could hang out with the cool kids in college.
Nice.
But no, we both just did I don't know, it's kind of rare to find somebody that does the same style artwork, when it comes to just high contrast, black and white illustration and strictly fucking with that.
We didn't even do
that's why we
that similar art back then though. I was doing
I guess we kicked it before that.
Really colorful big ass paintings and shit. And then as I think I got more into illustration, the more I got into tattooing and all of that. Although when I was growing up I drew a bunch of shit for heavy metal t-shirt style art and that sort of stuff, so I feel that was kind of also the kind of start of that kind of aesthetic.
So you talked about, heavy metal being the start. What would you say, growing up, what would be the big influences for you besides just metal and that font, that kind of hard style?
Just metal and punk and shit like that. Graffiti. I don't know, just urban, youth culture in general, running around, being a bad kid.
Were there any particular bands or musicians that really inspired it?
I grew up going to a bunch of local metal and hardcore punk shows. And that was all in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So it was bands like Napalm Raid, Holocaust, Blackmore. I don't know if you're familiar with any of them, but Canada has a really dope metal and hardcore scene.
Oh fuck! So you're not originally from Morgantown?
I'm from West Virginia, but I lived in North Carolina and I lived in Canada, and I've lived in Morgantown 3 separate times.
So what was living in Canada like?
It was dope. I smoked a bunch of weed in middle school and did a bunch of bad shit and had a blast.
Would you say there were culturally, so if you're coming up on hardcore and punk music, what would you say? You talked about some of the bands that you grew up with, but how would you compare the Canadian teen music scene to the American music scene? Would you say there are any significant differences?
I mean, I think it depends on where you are, and it depends on the era. This was probably 2009-ish, 2008. So that was 7 or 8 years ago. But I don't know any huge I think that city in particular had a bunch of cool 80s speed metal influenced bands and shit like that, but there's still your metalcore and shit like that. Protest the Hero came through and played the All Ages venue there 2 or 3 times a year. So I don't know if there's any significant differences, at least in the broad sense.
So we kind of talked about the musical influences. When was the first time you remember getting into art?
I was super good at art in kindergarten and shit like that, and elementary school. So I don't know, teachers and my parents always said I was really good at art and put me in art classes.
So how would you say you developed as an artist since you first started, and obviously you're just kind of learning the concept of art, but now that you're as you've grown and become more and more of a professional artist, how would you say you've developed?
Well, before I went off to go to college and shit, I really didn't know that much about art at all. I was just good at it, but didn't have a lot of the historical context or even current contemporary kind of trends and shit like that. you know, I just thought like graffiti and like punk rock like art was cool. So I don't know, just kind of like, I guess, like discovering more of like what's kind of going on out there, like creatively, and kind of seeing how I fit into that.
How have you kind of grown to fit in that? Like, what would you say like your biggest success, like recent successes would be as an artist? And we talked about like as an artist, but how would you describe? How would you, if somebody were to ask you like you're an artist, what does that mean? Like I just got back from the beach and all the family members like always ask you like, oh, you do art. That's such a broad term. Like what does that art mean? Like how would you describe yourself as an artist right now?
That's a difficult question.
There's been big changes.
Yeah, I do like.
What changes have you made?
Well, like from doing like big, colorful, like very like graffiti influenced paintings, to like really simple, like traditional tattoo and like Russian tattoo inspired like illustration, and really like simplistic designs that are like a lot more graphic and used for like t-shirts or that sort of shit. So that's been like a big shift, and then kind of like the balance between like tattoo art and just like two-dimensional art is I don't know, I feel like I can kind of fit into a couple different segments, and I'm always kind of trying to do new things. So it's kind of hard to like pinpoint at this point, but I'm definitely not trying to do like a brand, like a streetwear brand or nothing like that. Like I'm happy that he has a brand, because like I've done a design with him, and I think we're talking about doing more in the future. But I'm really into like the idea of like working with like someone who has a brand and like doing a design for them.
Like collabs?
Yeah, collaborations, and just not having to like be responsible for like the printing and production and all that shit, and just get to like make a design and get some money from that.
I mean, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm the one that gets dirty.
Which is important, because I feel like as someone who went from like a graphic designer to now like I see myself as just an artist that puts my shit on t-shirts. I really understand that, because I feel like if you look at all the big brands right now, all the big streetwear brands, it started out as some guys that were in charge of everything, but now like we both know like Bobby Hundreds that hasn't fucking pulled a squeegee in 20 years.
I mean, and like there's so many fucking brands. Like I'm into like wearable art as like a medium, like making like cool ass hats or like shirts, like lapel pins, patches. Like was like really into fucking like sewing patches and shit growing up. But I'm into that like as a medium, but I don't think like everybody needs to be like doing a brand. Like I'd much rather work with other people. And if like the things that I'm making kind of fit like the vision of their brand, like it'd be sweet to like work with them in that way.
But your product is sick.
Thanks.
The Sad Girl tees.
I mean, it's definitely cool to like see people work together, where it's like you have part A, you know, you have one half of the puzzle, you have the other half of the puzzle, and you put together, and then you get like a better product.
Yeah. With me, like I don't understand why he doesn't want to take the bull by the horns and build that empire up.
I think that's cool.
But it is
Like,
G to be able to sit back and have time to do other things, you know?
Yeah.
Not have to worry about that shit.
I think someone like Jay who's just down to print for people is so rare that you gotta like enjoy that, because
Those are like the coolest jobs to do. I would love to do jobs for like any of my homies that need shirts printed, you know? As long as they understand the drill, like read the fucking price guide first. Don't ask me to print 5 shirts for your grandma and your aunt, you know? But I would like, you know, I just love to be able to interact with the customer face to face, and everything just goes better that way, you know?
Oh, definitely.
So I would be down to print shit for any homies that want to start something up.
I want to know what's on those bootleg like AFI tees or shit. Are you printing those, or
No, I'm fucking painting those. Yeah, like that's like
those are sick as fuck.
I used to do shit like that when I was younger. Like I used to do all sorts of like I used to fucking like have like a cool band shirt when I was like back in middle school that wouldn't fit, and I would like cut it out and sew it onto the front of like another shirt.
Oh, that's sick.
And like
I've
yeah,
never
it's
thought
sick
that.
now,
That's
but
sick.
like people thought it was fucking stupid and shit.
It's crazy how
I
that
have-
shit changes.
But yeah, I was
I
like
did the
always
same
doing
thing.
shit like that, or like like I would like paint a shirt sometimes, and now like I don't know, I learned how to paint like really well, so I can just like paint like a fucking bootleg. Like I did an AFI T-shirt with like this like bluish like color fade on like the old '90s logo. And look fucking cool, but I'm trying to just do like custom like bootleg shirts for people. Like everybody's doing like Bart Simpson and
Oh,
like
bootleg
Mickey
Bart, yeah.
Mickey Mouse and shit. Like beating that to death. But I'll totally like paint like Mickey Mouse shirts or like old bands or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm fucking.
And they hold up good in the wash.
Yeah,
I've seen it with these.
yeah, it's just regular acrylic paint, but it like you wash it once and it like softens like a little bit and like fades like a little bit, but then it's like Gucci from there. It looks good.
Sick.
What was I gonna say? What would you? Oh no, I was talking about the bootleg culture. I fucking love that shit because right now, like, so much vintage shit is in, and so many people are trying to take like something vintage and then flip it.
Mhm.
Like I'm working on these Newport shirts that use like the orange and like green font. Like, and I love like bootlegging shit because people see it and they're like, oh, is that Newport? And then they see that it's your thing. It's like even cooler because you're like, it's like super niche and like not well known. So when you do something bootleg that like not a lot of people know about, the people that do know get like just super
Yeah,
amped off
it's-
of it.
Yeah, you gotta do it like the right way though. Like it's easy to have it just be like tacky
Oh yeah.
and like looking trendy and shit, but yeah, I like that stuff too.
The other night when we were hanging at your house, remember you were talking about like the whole gold teeth thing. So what's up with that?
Oh, I'm studying like goldsmithing myself. I don't have much to say about that like right
Yeah.
now, but
Too
it's like
exclusive.
a little project, like a new hobby that
Yeah.
I have.
I mean, do you see it getting, like as a bigger thing, or just like you're trying to
I
figure
mean,
it out
I'm
for
trying to get rich as fuck from like goldsmithing and shit. But yeah, I'm just like beginning to like teach myself. But that'll be cool.
We all need
Yeah,
a local jeweler.
right? I know. I was just telling someone. I know so many people that like screen print or like tattoo or like sell pot or like all this shit. I don't know anybody that can hook it up with fucking like slugs or like cool ass rings and shit.
Yeah, I love custom rings. Like,
Right? I could even make rings for like everybody's fucking like sisters like weddings and shit like that. Like, you know, nice, you know, family, friends,
Yeah, you gotta have a guy for everything, right?
right? You could get a store of them all.
make me a sweet wedding band.
But
with
yeah,
a
that's
money
why
sign
another
on it.
reason like I don't wanna like have a fucking brand. Like I'm trying to have my hands in like too many different like creative things to like have like, cause if you're doing like a brand, you have to have like a very specific like identity
Yeah.
for that entity.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just like experiment a lot more.
Yeah, when I was in Boulder last week and I was wearing your sad girl shirt or whatever, and this dude, I was at a skate park and this dude's like, oh my god, what is that blah 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 brand? I'm like, nah, it's this homie from the college town by where I'm from, he prints shirts. I'm like, check him out. And then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing. Like having that distinction can be good and bad because like you don't have the responsibility
Yeah.
that comes with like saying you have a brand, but like at the same time you have like less like tangible shit to like show people.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's cool to have your shirts, like, even if you don't print them yourself, you know, but just like, I think it's cool for you to have a couple shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those sad girl shirts for the shit. Like, if,
I mean,
if you want to sell
like
them
I'm
to
getting
me,
ready to make more
I'll
with
take
a
'em,
new
but
design.
it'd be sad to see them leave your hands.
Which ones?
Like, if you were selling designs instead of just getting me to print them for you, it'd be
Yeah.
sad to see it leave your hands, because that could be a big thing.
Are there any companies that started like is Sketchy Tank? I mean, I know they're like fucking blown out now.
I don't know if you know who Black Cloud Design is, but he's this dude in the UK, I think. But he does like tattoo like esque, kind of Sketchy Tank esque. He's like, I think he's actually in like a collective with Sketchy Tank. I forget what they're called, but he does like all his shit like it looks like he does it in Illustrator or whatever, like and he sells those designs to all sorts of fucking like Instagram brands and shit like that.
Gotcha.
And I've always just seen him making posts with like cool graphics and
Yeah.
selling designs like that. So
It's just going
That
from
is
there.
cool. That would be cool to
like,
line
yeah,
that
that's
up.
like your hustle and shit.
Yeah.
But
So
Yeah, I respect that hustle too. That's
so we talked about you wanting to like put your hands in like different art forms, and you kind of talked about tattoos earlier. How would you describe that like coming to be?
I've considered like learning to tattoo. I don't know. It's like a big commitment to like learn and shit. I wish I would have done that shit like when I was younger, like out of high school. But now that I'm like 23, like it's a big commitment to spend like a year like not making any money and like working a ton on top of it to just like pay the bills. So, I mean, I might learn at one point one day, depending on what else I got going on. But I just really like the like visual language of like tattoos and tattoo art, like traditional American tattoos and like European tattooing. I don't know, that shit's cool.
Were there any particular tattoo artists that visuals that you like really like clung to when you first saw them?
Fucking Johnny Gloom. This woman in Paris, she's awesome. She does really beautiful like figurative like illustration.
All
But
black.
tattooing. Yeah.
No,
All black. It's
Yeah.
super cool.
I was about
but
to say to rewind
she's
like
read-
before the tattooing stuff. Like after you're done, we should get back into the black illustration.
Yeah.
Where it started.
But she's read, there's a bunch of dudes out in like the Ukraine that are cool and in South Korea. South Korea has like a cool fucking tattoo culture now, and like tattooing's like illegal there technically. It's like not
Really?
enforced really. But yeah, technically like only doctors can tattoo you, I think.
That's weird.
But there's a bunch of cool art, like Scumboy666. He's like one of my favorite artists. And he just does like cool ass tattoos and like makes t-shirts and like paints on like jackets and like handbags and shit.
What do you want to reverse about?
Yeah, talking about black illustration.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just before the transition from painting, moving more towards like the Russian style tattoo flash, and like, you know, that was a pretty, I feel like we kind of took that transition at around the same time from painting to just like all black illustration for the most part, just like high contrast, heavy black,
Yeah.
and just like kind of, I mean, like,
I think
like you said, you're experimenting in that niche, but I feel like it's kind of like a small community to fall into, but
I mean, I think part of like by not like actually like tattooing and just doing like that kind of artwork, or like at least like influenced by that kind of artwork, but doing it like two-dimensionally, you get to do like other shit too. Like you're not kind of constrained by like the aspects of like putting it like on a person.
Yeah.
yep.
Jay, do you want to talk on? I mean, how you kind of talked about how he transitioned from color to black illustration. Would you like to describe how you kind of like made that transition?
Well, you just like dropped out to go like
Yeah.
skate in fucking Colorado.
Yeah, my deal.
It's not-
So like you just did like a little bit of painting, cause like that you had to pick something when you go to art school, and like it's like either graphic design
It
or
wasn't like that. Like I was into painting. Like I knew I wanted to be a painting major. Like I didn't go to college to get a degree. I went to college to learn what I wanted, learn as much as I could
Yeah.
while I lasted, and I wanted to learn about painting. You know, so I went to Shepherd for a year, and you know, I painted that whole year and whatever, and then I lost my scholarship and had an opportunity to get it back if I took a summer class, but I also got an offer to go skate for this clothing company out in Colorado. So I was like, take a summer class or go skate for a living for a little bit. And I went and skated for a living for a little bit. But then when I got back from Colorado, after that is when I started. I didn't have the studio at Shepherd to work in anymore. Painting's a hell of a process.
Of course.
You know, and I feel like that's what kind of made me move more towards, like, I started drawing again, and then,
I think it was like not long after you got back that you started doing Live Rough, Die Tough.
yeah, started doing that, and then, you know, I needed to come up with more designs for that, and then just got into, you know, one single color designs, you know, preferably black, but,
It's like fun drawing shit like just with like black or like in one
Yeah.
color, like having to like, you know, like you could either be doing like something with like paint something a lot and like try and make it look really good that way, or you could just try and make something as simple and like kind of like every line exactly where it needs to be in like a
Yeah.
simple design, and that's another way to like, I don't know,
yeah,
be
like,
satisfied with like what you're doing.
the high contrast designs, like, I don't think people really realize what goes into that, like, we were discussing earlier, like, if we were painting a realistic portrait, or like painting or like drawing like graphite or something, a realistic portrait, that shit is way easier than like trying to get, you know, you have a black pen to use and you have to make this face look like that person, have all the features you want, balance the contrast, because there's no shading, you know, you're working with black and white, so every line, like every shadow that you create in that, you know, you got to be looking at it from a distance, you got to be looking at it up close, you know, like, I don't know, it's tough, like, I'd definitely say it's harder to, like, for me to be satisfied with a black and white portrait than it would be, like, a graphite portrait or a charcoal portrait.
Do you think that since like some like the technology has come along and you can kind of do that on a computer, do you feel like that's made it easier?
I feel like
It probably has for
I
a lot of
don't-
people. I don't fucking do
I don't
that
fuck
much
with that.
on a
Yeah.
computer though.
hand-drawn everything.
Like just like using like a light box and shit and like good like vellum or like trace paper or whatever, and like working with designs that way. It's similar to what you'd be doing on a computer, but like that's the most I do
yeah.
in terms of that. I'll like scan shit in.
Yeah, most of the process
But
is just
not
so much
often.
from, like, yeah, I do the same thing. I wait until I have, like, you know, I'll draw something 10 fucking times in a row, and then when I have that solid finished copy, like the OG, I scan that bitch in, tune it up on Illustrator, and have my files saved there too. And then I slide it in my portfolio, so I keep all the hard copies too. You know what I mean?
It'd be good to like learn more digital like tricks and shit. Like I have that fucking
I mean, it'd make your
tablet
life
that
a
I've never
lot
fucking
easier, I'm
used,
sure.
but
I love Illustrator, but like, I just, you know, I don't think I want to skip any more steps.
like
of the
too many
process
people
right now.
rely too much on digital shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why like I've always been hesitant to fuck with it that much.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, do you think you feel like that kind of like takes away from a lot of it?
I mean, well, it's just like easier, kind of like if you know what like you're doing or you know anything about like art, like it's like easy to call out like shitty digital art, but like to the like uninitiated, I feel like just like it's easier to come up with something like digitally. And
I
it's-
feel like the difference between, you know, like the more graphic design style, like designing online, you know, creating your logos, creating your artwork digitally, and stuff like that, versus like what we do, like hand drawing everything. I feel like that there's kind of a gray area in there between like desk job and like handcrafted trade worker.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's definitely a gray area in there, but like there is a line.
like the
if-
artist's like hand is like one of the like most important like aspects of it, and like
yeah.
some people who do digital art, like their specific like touch on like is like evident in what they're doing and is like really fucking good. But for a lot of people it's just like
Cheap.
polishing a turd or like
Yeah,
whatever.
polishing
It's like
a
it
turd,
looks
yeah.
super shitty, but the fact that they did it
Yeah.
in Photoshop, like it passes because you know they're using like fucking like digital
Expensive
colors and shit or
programs.
whatever.
That kind of reminds me of like when you see like Photoshop like Facebook memes. I feel like that's a lot of that stuff of like people do like a little bit of design but they're just like putting it on like a shitty picture. So like but it's supposed to look artsy. Like I feel like
Well,
that's
no,
like-
I thought they're supposed to look shitty. They're
I mean,
supposed
Yeah,
to
some
look
that's what I
shitty.
thought. Like,
It's
just
supposed
make shit
I-
like
it's like-
it's out. Yeah.
Yeah, like because especially when they're getting like copied and pasted so many
Yeah,
times,
yeah,
and
the
like
resolution
yeah.
starts.
it's all fucked. Like that has to be on purpose.
That makes
I
it
don't
though for me.
like it's cool.
Once it actually.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, it's the same sort of thing.
speaking of social media, how active would you say you are on social media?
Like not that active. Like I like only fuck with Instagram, pretty much. Like Instagram's real cool,
But we're getting famous on there.
yeah.
Slowly but surely, man, it's tough.
Do you pay attention to like posting times or
Yeah, how
like
involved are you?
Nah.
Like how meticulous are you?
so
I mean, I've been like I try to be better about it, and I've gotten a lot better about it. But
It's a pretty personal
I'm
question.
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
No.
it's my bathroom business.
your bathroom business.
So like once you got something, like if you just like sketch something up real fast, you're like, bloop, you're not like, oh, I'm gonna save this for Friday night.
Well, like-
now everyone's on their phone, so more people see it. Or
Kind of, but not really.
I mean, that's a big thing right now. It's like
Yeah, so
people-
with like the analytics
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
LipRough.com.
We should fucking
like,
talk to someone who knows more
You
about
can
the
you can
analytics.
Google it like right now. You can be like best posting time for Instagram, and a bar chart shows up on Google for how many like for
Oh,
the day before.
Really?
Yeah, I've
how
never
many
gone
people
that
engage.
That's
far.
fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like
I feel like that's like way too broad to be beneficial, because like, you know, it's who are you trying to like
Yeah. Well, no,
catch
like
the attention
our
of.
previous employer, like that's where I learned that from. Like that's what they did every day. That's how they gained.
I
that
feel like
20,000
just
followers.
having like
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
looking like feed, it's kind of more important, because when like random people like just like stumble upon like your
Mhm.
shit, is like if you're you know, they look at like your feed and like the whole like everything they see at once like looks good.
Mm,
Like I feel like that's more important than just like posting a picture at like a good time or
Mhm.
whatever. Because I'll see like one picture of a bunch of cool shit and like never see anything from that again.
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel what you're saying.
It's cool. I just like I found like tons of cool like tattooers or just like artists or like people just making cool shit on Instagram. So I just like kind of try and think about like how I've come across people that are cool.
Mm.
I don't think about it like that much more than that though.
Sweet.
so as we kind of like get towards the end, what would you say your goals are? As not only with like, so now would you consider the Lonely Bones like almost like an alter ego, or would you consider it like the brand that you do? Like,
I mean, it's like my
My shit.
I guess both of those you could say. I mean, like even though I'm not doing a streetwear brand, like
Mhm.
as like part of being an artist is branding yourself, and like
You gotta market
particularly
yourself.
when like you're using social media and you like literally have to brand yourself.
Mhm.
So that's like how I'm branding myself as an artist right now.
Yeah.
Can you like? Are you two gonna do another show soon? Or are you gonna like collab with more Flash Sheets?
We have a
or-
show coming up.
July.
July 18th. Is that?
Alright, we're gonna go
What we
ahead
said?
and put the date
Yeah.
out there. We're releasing the date for the next
If that's
art
a,
show.
if that's a Monday.
July 18th. It's a
Monday.
Monday. Come out. We're doing a collab shirt. Another collab shirt.
Yeah, for
People
Live
ate
Rough,
the
Die
last
Tough.
one up, and this one's gonna be way fucking cooler.
So is there a
everyone should
purpose
definitely come out.
behind the Monday night besides this one day after work, or
I
Monday
have to
night-
work a
oh.
fuckload this month on weekends, so I like can't do it on a weekend. And like I know a bunch of people who work weekends.
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like,
you might
Yeah,
get,
we
like,
were
a
kind of
better
shooting
crowd.
for a
go.
different crowd too, like people that couldn't make it last time because they're
Mhm.
working weekends might
Yeah.
be able to make it on a Monday night.
that's a good point.
yeah, it's really not that much of like a raging party, so
Yeah.
we don't need to do
Oh
it
yeah,
on
of
a
course.
weekend.
It'll be fun.
Roll in, roll out. You know,
Yeah, we had a
Check
good
out
time.
what's
We had a
going
good
on.
turnout
A
last
lot of
time.
people had fun last
We had that
time.
place pretty packed.
I'm really bummed I missed that. It looked like
Yeah, but it'll be at Cherry
Oh,
Bomb
you weren't there?
Tattoo
Yeah,
in
you weren't
Martinsburg,
there
West
at all.
Virginia.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a lot like more people than I thought would be there.
Well, what is he involved with the Incognito one too?
That's
Maybe.
nah. I mean, like, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be there on the tour and shit for sure, and like
Yeah,
put
I'm
shit
not-
in the
I'm
art
not-
You're not in
market
that
or whatever.
Show or whatever.
I was just like, Live Rough Die Tough was invited
Yeah.
to do the
Okay.
incognito
I thought
art
it was
market.
You.
No, it was
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Live Rough Die
I
Tough.
might do
my
another
company was
shirt with
invited.
him, like around, because like that's
Yeah.
not gonna be till like fall, right?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
not
we
till
might be doing
September.
like another collaboration
Yeah,
at
so-
that point, but
Yeah.
So besides this show coming up, what other goals you got going on, or what other like moves are you making that you can talk about?
I'm trying to get into a new studio space, like very soon. So just kind of doing that, and doing this show, and that's kind of it. Like, at least for the rest of the summer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Make a bunch of fucking drawings and like print some shirts and shit.
Any particular events you want to shout out as we kind of like come to a close? Any particular dates besides this show, which is what, the 18th?
The 18th, July 18th. July 18th. Nah, yeah, LRDT is having a second tour. We had a tour last year, our first year, and it was pretty fucking cool. And we're bringing the same hefty crew this time, but I believe Lonely Bones himself is gonna join us.
Nice.
The first stop will be September 24th, I think, at Incognito Tattoo in Greencastle.
Okay.
And then from then on, we're making plans for the rest of the tour. But we're definitely, this tour, instead of hitting strictly skate shops and skate parks and stuff like that, you know, we're kind of just trying to make it a little more about the brand and just hang out with some cool people, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm actually making a couple posts to try to find some photographers that are just like on the East Coast. Shout me out, let me know what city you're in, and we're trying to stop and just work with new people, you know.
Yeah, I got some cats out in like the DMV area. I can refer you to. We have a bunch of photographers.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Lookbook project is coming soon. That'll be crazy. So yeah. Besides the show, any other things? Peacemaker, you have any questions?
Not really. I mean, I think that's it. It would be cool to see once. I mean, I'm not really involved with Logan's Lookbook. It would be cool to see like what you guys are always pumping out and involved with that. Maybe I know it's gonna be print and what's like paper pixels better. Paper's better.
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely got some new stuff dropping soon between the two of us, so got the new collaboration for the art show. We're gonna do a collab shirt, and that shit's looking mean. I wasn't lying.
You guys
And
wanna plug your-
we've been pumping out a bunch of new artwork too, so we'll have a bunch of original artwork for sale.
Nice.
Come pick up some OGs.
I think that's it.
Hell yeah. Okay, so do you just want to toss your, as you said, you're only active on Instagram? Where
Yeah,
can-
my Instagram's fucking 6lonely6bones6.
Okay.
What's yours?
Yep.
Yours is new.
Yeah, 'cause you
For
got
the
new
last
stu- you
time.
got new
Oh
stuff
yeah,
since
yeah.
then.
I've changed mine up a little bit. All right, my personal ladies is at Dirty J Vance, and it's not as dirty as it sounds. They just call me
Sounds
Dirty
fancy.
J because I'm dirty screen printing all the time. But yeah, and follow the company Live Rough Die Tough. That's all the Instagram name is. Website liverough.tough.com. Go grab some new gear. We'll probably have we might end up putting some of the collaboration stuff up on that site too if we have stuff left over from our super limited releases.
And Mark, tell
I
me
mean, mine's just at Mark Peacemaker. Simple on everything.
on everything. I'll put that on my mom.
Do you have your website?
I'll leave